It's prediction time for the Florida Georgia game, so we're rolling through offensive predictions, defensive predictions, then we'll take a look at this game according to BetOnline.ag, only here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, every day, available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy Wednesday. I am Brandon Olson. You can find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. I'm also the founder of Whole9Sports.com, where you can find all of my written work. Of course, today's not crossover Wednesday. Couldn't get the schedule to match. Hopefully tomorrow we'll see how it goes. But for now, we're going to do the predictions, which are usually Thursday. But, obviously shuffling the schedule around, going into the offensive predictions, defensive predictions, and then the game according to BetOnline. Starting with these offensive predictions first, Florida's going to have their worst rushing game to date. I hate saying that because I hate Georgia and I hate admitting that they're going to play well against us. But guess what? They're gonna because, well, they're the number one team in the nation for a reason. And that reason, primarily their defense. Their offense isn't stellar, but their defense is, in fact, stellar. And I've mentioned it before. They're like 1985 Bears stellar. Georgia's defense has been incredible this year, only allowing 100 rushing yards once. And it was against the University of Alabama, Birmingham, better known as UAB, primarily with backups in during week two's blowout win for Georgia. So they allowed 100 rushing yards, but not allowed 100 rushing yards. It just is what it is. And Florida's rushing attack has slowed down significantly over the past 3 games due to primarily a lack of explosive runs. And I personally think that a lot of that is due to the lack of running back involvement with the wide zone game. You look at the first 4 weeks of the season, the first 4 games of the season, we had 400, 363, 246, and 283. All 4 games over 40 carries. Or, 40 or more carries, because against Tennessee, we had exactly 40 carries. But since then, it's been Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and LSU, where we had 171, 181, and 138. So basically, and all 3 of those games below 40 carries. So what I'm hearing is 40 carries equals 200 yards, less than 40 carries equals 181 or less. Obviously, that is really precise, but Florida's rushing attack has been slowing down. I don't think that the Georgia game is the game where this rushing attack is going to suddenly get back on track in a big way. So that is why, I'm thinking things slow down for this rush, or don't pick up for this rushing attack. Second, I'm saying Florida takes more deep shots than usual in this game. I think Dan Mullen is going to play Anthony Richardson a lot, despite the fact that he hasn't necessarily committed to either quarterback. In fact, he's committed to both quarterbacks. Saying, both quarterbacks are going to play. It's going to be the same thing as always. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I think Anthony Richardson, whether or not Emory Jones takes the first snaps, I think Anthony Richardson will take the majority of the snaps by the time the game is done. And we know Anthony Richardson. He's going to look for the long ball. Whether or not you think he should look for the long ball, he's going to look for the long ball. That's his game. That's his style. That's what he does. So Anthony Richardson will look for the long ball. And over the past few weeks, not much success, but teams have found a little bit more success when throwing the ball against Georgia. And I just think that Florida is going to really challenge them, especially if Anthony Richardson does play as often as I think he will, because I think he's going to look for that deep ball more than Emory Jones would, or I know he would look for the deep ball more than Emory Jones would, because that's just Anthony Richardson's style of play. We know that. And again, teams haven't found much success against Georgia, but the first 4 games of the season, teams are completing 50% of their passes, less than that against Georgia. Since then, it's picked up to average out to about, over the past 3 games, be about 64%. So, things have picked up for offenses against Georgia. My final prediction is that Florida is going to have one of the, I don't really know how to word this, but they're going to have less plays than usual, I'll say. I just think that's how it's going to work, because I think that this team is going to have really two methods of pushing the ball or moving the ball against Georgia. I think it's going to be control the clock and run the ball, or take deep shots. And when you look at taking a deep shot, there are a few ways it can work out. It's an incompletion, which stops the clock, of course. So an incompletion, which stops the clock, probably forces a punt, or it could be a turnover, giving the ball to the other team, which means that Florida won't have the ball as much. Or it's a huge play and it's either a touchdown or just a big gain in general, in which case we eat up a lot of space and we can score quicker. I think that the run game is going to be runs and quick screens, whether it's to receivers, running backs, which we, by the way, we don't do nearly enough. Like, given the fact given how productive our running backs have been with the ball in their hands, we really don't run enough screens to just get them the ball with blockers in front of them and let them make plays from there on. I'm just realizing that as I'm talking about this. But I think it's going to be runs, wide runs preferably, and quick screens, especially, by the way, especially wide runs with guys like Jordan Davis in the middle of that defensive line. So wide runs and quick screens, which are basically going to be an extension of the run game. You can look at the Cowboys versus the Bucs in week 1, how Dak Prescott threw the ball like a bajillion times, but a huge majority of them were just quick passes, just because you can't run the ball against Tampa Bay. So, just quick passes, get the ball out in space to the running backs, to your shiftier receivers, let them make plays with the ball in their hands, because running the ball probably won't be super successful. So I do think that if we have a high percent, or if we have a high volume of passes, it's going to be primarily because quick screens and quick checkdowns to just get the ball out and win the running game might not work against Georgia, because, again, their defense is just so good and I hate them so much for it. All right, college football fanatics, have you heard about PrizePicks? PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. I love it, and I know you will too. PrizePicks offers every sport you can think of. I'm talking NFL, NBA, and college football. Why not? College basketball, MLB, soccer, MMA, and more. PrizePicks offers more college football props than anyone in the world and offers all the all-star players of the Power Five, like Anthony Richardson, Emory Jones, Jacob Copeland, and to these smaller schools like Toledo, where you have Bryant Koback, Bryce Mitchell, Daquan Finn, if you want to look for a quarterback that's almost guaranteed to get a rushing touchdown every year, whatever. I'm just letting you know. PrizePicks offers mixed sport entries, so you can take the over on LeBron points with the under on Mahomes touchdowns in the same entry. Don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com or go to your app store and download the app today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Use promo code locked on. Now we're going to look at some defensive predictions here. Florida Gators run defense will have a bounce back game. LSU was rough, with a capital rough. Like, it was a rough week for Florida's run defense. I think our defensive line is angry. I think they are pissed, and I think they are ready to go after a bye week. Now, we can look at the LSU game and we could say, hey, like this defensive line played just horrid football. You know what? Or this defense played just horrid football. And we could look at the Vanderbilt game and be like, you know what? Maybe one of the reasons that this defensive line played horrid football is because they were on the field for 80 plays just a week before. I get Vanderbilt didn't score. The defense played fantastic. But it's entirely possible that this defense was still gashed from the Vanderbilt game, practice, all that stuff added up. Fatigue adds up. We had a bye week last week. Hopefully, this defense is well rested, ready to go, because I want a big game from these guys. Like, I'm talking like Antonio Valentino should have a big game. Daquan Newkirk should have a big game. And, Daquan Newkirk, by the way, pointed out, like, we just got out-schemed against LSU. No freaking duh, you got out-schemed. They ran counter trap 1,000 times and worked every single time, because Todd Grantham doesn't know what an adjustment is, or what an effective adjustment is, by the way. But I also think that we'll see more. Sorry, I just had to take a shot at him whenever I get the chance. I think we see more man than usual in this game from Florida against Georgia. I realize that I'm usually someone who's like, yeah, like cover 3, cover 4, whatever you want to do. Like, I'm cool with it. I think we see more man than usual. The reason for or more, maybe just more match coverage in general. But Georgia's quarterbacks, as efficient as they've been this season, and Stetson Bennett's been a better deep ball thrower, we get that, but their quarterbacks aren't great. They're efficient, but not very good. It's as simple as that. Playing man coverage with our second press man Don't you dare come at me with off man unless it's a 3rd and long. Don't you dare come at me with off man. I'm talking press man coverage. Get in their jerseys. Let them know you're there. Playing man, it forces these quarterbacks to make more tight window throws that I don't know if either of these Georgia quarterbacks are capable of doing on a consistent basis. And like, I mean, tight man coverage. Like Kyrie Elam, get in their face every play. Avery Helm, Jason Marshall, I don't care who's out there. Get in their face every play. Travis Johnson, get in their face every play. I want the safeties playing close to the line of scrimmage. Maybe not press, but close to the line of scrimmage. Don't let the tight ends get free releases. Watch the running backs out of the backfield because I want the front 7 going after Georgia. They've got a good offensive line. They've got a good run game. You got to sell out to get them. And I'm fine selling out with our front 7 or front 6 because I am so confident in this secondary to be able to hold up against this defense, against these receivers. Because again, I get it. We allow big plays out the wazoo. That's Florida football, baby. But we allow big plays. I get it. That might happen. But I feel more comfortable just letting our front 6 get after Georgia's backfield in general. Because if they're running the ball, get after them. If they're throwing the ball, get after them. Get after Georgia's backfield and make these quarterbacks make plays. Make these running backs, who are very good, make plays. That's what I want to see. I want to see these Gators go after them. And I want to see this secondary be physical and force Georgia to make good plays. Finally, I think Georgia throws the ball more than usual against Gators. Why is that? I think that Florida's going to find success on offense. I don't know how much success, but I think they're going to find success on offense, whether it's the deep shot, which I think that's going to be the key, throwing the ball deep, which is especially why I want Anthony Richardson to start this game. I think that's how we have to beat Georgia. If we're going to beat Georgia at all, it has to be being able to throw the ball deep because I think we need those big plays because this defense, they don't break, they don't bend, they don't do anything. So we've got to figure out, not that they don't do anything, they do a lot. They don't do anything good for an offense. So I think that taking deep shots and hoping they make mistakes, hoping you beat them deep, hoping you do whatever, I think that is your best chance at winning this game. So I think that we've got to do it. And I think we will find success. I'm very confident in our receivers. I am not super confident in either of our quarterbacks accurately getting the ball to their deep receivers, but I'm confident in them getting the ball deep downfield somewhere and our receivers making a play on the ball. Simple as that. I am just putting faith in the receivers. If I'm a quarterback, it's Jesus take the wheel and I'm just throwing a deep ball. It's as simple as that. I think Georgia will have to I think they'll have to score quickly because I'm confident in our run defense again. Like we know this. I think our run defense plays well against them, hopefully forcing a few early punts. If Florida can score, 14 in the first quarter, that's asking a lot considering Georgia gives up less than half a point per possession. But I want our offense to score early and just at that point, just play ball control and just make Georgia earn it against you. Simple as that. I think that, I think that they throw the ball more than usual. And I think if Georgia throws the ball more than they're used to or more than they'd like to, I think Florida walks away with a decent chance of this. Challenge them vertically, put up points, and make their offense try to put up points as well. Because I think that we win the game if we can get this offense rolling in that way, which I realize and I understand is way easier said than done. But I'm sticking to my guns here, and I'm holding those as my predictions. I don't know about you guys, but with football season, baseball playoffs, basketball season, even hockey season, I'm watching some games. It's miserable here. I am now just constantly snacking during games. It's sugary snacks, salty snacks, whatever. Maybe it's snacks. I'm eating them. But now I got to stick to Built Bar. Built Bar is the best protein bar on the market. If you're trying to eat clean, but you've got a sweet tooth like moi, that's my style. I'm just letting you know that is no longer a problem. Built Bar is your low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and high fiber solution. You can even enjoy Built Bar if you're keto. Remember to use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your next order. That is locked, LOCKED 15 to get 15% off of your next order at BuiltBar.com. Anybody else make money this past weekend? Because guess what? I kind of did, but I kind of lost it, but I kind of won again. Like I I was pretty good. Florida wasn't here to ruin my betting streak. That's what I'm getting at. Florida wasn't here to kill my pockets this past Saturday. I use BetOnline. It's the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. Obviously, Florida not playing means they couldn't throw a monkey wrench into my plans. Almost hit my parlay, but Oklahoma, you screwed me. And Kansas, really. I bet the over. I didn't bet on a spread. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to bet on Oklahoma. It doesn't help that I said I'm not as stupid. But BetOnline has real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can think of. It is the best way to place your bets, and it's 100% free to sign up. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Make sure to use promo code LOCKEDON. That is LOCKED, no space, ON. Now we're going to take a look at the Florida versus Georgia game, according to BetOnline. Not happy with this, but also kind of surprised that I thought it'd be worse. But, whatever. I digress. The line is Georgia is favored by 14 points. So 2 full touchdowns and the extra points against Florida. Well, guess what? I'm taking Florida to cover the spread because I think that Florida, when they're an underdog, they can keep things close enough at the very least. Of course, we've only really been underdogs against Alabama. Kept it very close. We were 2-score underdogs, lost by 2, period. I think that we can keep it close at the very least. At the absolute minimum, I think Florida can keep it close. I realize it's been ugly for Florida. We've been playing down to competition, playing below competition. We've been submarining our competition. At this point, we'd have to play up to Georgia. I'm confident in that. I think this team is one of those, like the Steelers. Like, they're going to play down to their crappy competition. But when they play a fantastic team, they are right there with you, which is so freaking frustrating about this team. I'm going to let you know that. But I'm taking Florida plus 14 to cover the spread here. I think that, first of all, it's a rivalry game, so talent kind of gets thrown out the window anyway. It's just anything could happen in a rivalry game. You can't bank on either team really doing anything. That's just not something you can do in a rivalry game, especially in this rivalry game. So I'm taking Florida to cover the spread, 14 points. The money line is also what I'm taking for Florida because no way in hell am I taking a Georgia money line with Florida Georgia line. I freaking hate myself for that. I'm probably going to include that in the cold open if you made it this far through the episode. But, I'm taking Florida with the money line of plus 455, which of course means if you bet $100 on Florida and they win, you win $455 in addition to your $100 returning to you. I'm taking that. I will not include that in my parlay. Or I might make a second parlay including that one and just like round robin it and then just make a lot. But whatever. But I'm taking Florida to win this game because, like I said, 1, ain't no way in hell I'm betting Georgia. 2, like I've mentioned already, it's a rivalry game. Throw everything you know about the game of football out the window. And just the only thing you can know is that, in this case, any given Saturday, anything could happen. So don't bank on anyone doing anything that you're expecting. I'm fully expecting every single one of these predictions to be wrong, which I don't even know how I can manage to get them all wrong. But hey, nothing would surprise me at this point. I think that at this point, Florida, I'm taking the money line because that's what I'm going to do. The over-under is the only thing I am undecided on. The over-under is currently set at 51. That's kind of a lot for a game involving Georgia because, their offense puts up a decent amount of points because it turnovers, good field position, all that stuff. And Florida is known for turning the ball over at this point this year. But I'm torn for these reasons. I think that Florida wants to turn this one into a bit of a shootout, which I realize I say that often, but I think Florida's looking for a shootout here because this is really one of those games where, this Georgia offense isn't very explosive. I think both teams here are kind of going to try to play ball control football and also take deep shots when possible. So it's like, that's why I'm undecided on this over under, because if they take those deep shots and they work, that's going to be a lot of points scored. If they take the deep shots and they don't work, that's going to be not a lot of points scored. So that's why I am very torn, because I pretty much have to decide, do I think it's going to work or do I think it's not going to work, or am I not going to bet on the over under, which this would be the first time this year that I don't bet on a Florida point total, which I'm probably going to bet on. I genuinely don't know where I'm going to go, because again, if I pretty much have to decide, do I think that the deep balls are going to work? Because I know that both of these teams are going to want to run the ball quite a bit, in which case the under seems like the easy answer. But at the same time, Florida turns it over. Both these teams might get good field position, whatever it may be. And that's going to lead to more points. So that's why I am completely torn on where I'm going to go with this, which is just incredibly frustrating for me, because it pisses me off that I don't know where I'm going to go yet. I'd usually like to be decided at this point, or at least have a general direction for where I'm going to go. But I don't know. Maybe you guys tell me. Maybe I'll literally just put it in the comments and I'll just be like, hey, you guys decide if I bet the over or the under here, and I'll leave it up to you entirely. And you decide what I do with my money. Yay! Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. Tomorrow it'll hopefully be crossover Thursday with Locked On Bulldogs. We're trying to make it happen, but we're all busy with work and everything. I represent one player for NIL, and he just entered the transfer portal, so I've got to figure that out too. It's hectic right now, so it's a maybe. Now, make your second listen Locked On SEC. Get all of your daily SEC news in less than 30 minutes with SEC expert Chris Gordy of Sports 790. It is free and available on all platforms. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. You can find all of my written work with whole9sports.com. That is WHOLENINE Sports. And be sure to check out my pinned tweet and let Locked On know why Gator Nation is the best fan base in college football. And I will see you all tomorrow.